We're back with another episode. We're back with another episode of Britt. And how are you guys doing this week? How was you guys' week? It is a Monday. I hope you guys are doing so well. Today I'm recording a little bit earlier, so I'm proud of myself. Yes, and as you can see, I got a different look, but don't get used to it, cause I am the Moesha of 2021. Like I love my box braids. Like I love my box braids. Like But I am privy to giving your hair a break. So I'm giving my hair a break for a month. I took them out. Literally after I filmed the Britt Says last week. Like as soon as I filmed Britt Says, I did my little editing. While I was editing, I was taking out my hair. So yeah. So a full week out. So yeah, I need to give my hair a break, a rest. As you guys know, like when was the last time you seen me with my actual hair out? Exactly. So yeah, it's been a while. Like I think I remember I got pregnant and I was like, yeah, I can't take in my hair. So from like March until last week, I've been wearing box braids. Like as soon as I take out my hair, I just put box braids in it. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to give you looks. Like I found this hair in my house. I was gonna go outside and buy hair. I will go out and buy hair. I'm just not in the mood today. Like I just want to film Britt Says. I'm in a mood because I was able to wake up and film early, because I film very late and then edit, and which is really bad habit. But yeah. Anyway, so found this hair, put it together. You know how us black girls do. Like we could find anything and just make it work, honey. I saw a thing like that. Shout outs to that Instagram account, Embracing Black Culture. We're giving shout outs in 2021. Yeah, so but I remember they were showing how black girls, like the different styles and looks that, you know, that black girls did with their hair. It was so amazing. Like me, I didn't watch a tutorial. I just put this together because I'm just trying to be on the road. I'm trying to be on a roll. You know what I'm saying? And I'm giving you simplicity, gray shirt, curly hair. Like, I don't know. I feel even weird today with this look. Like, I keep looking at myself like, do I look okay? Like, I feel like I look weird. I don't know. But I think it's just, I just want to be a little bit brighter. I think it's just that I've been wearing box braids for so long that I'm accustomed to them. But baby, when they come back though, I'm going to get them back. I just want to give my hair some rest, you know. Put all that strain and stuff on your hair. It's too much. Especially the ones I had last time. Those were really, really long. So those could put a lot of strain and stuff on your hair. So I just wanted a break. So when I'm not doing my hair, when I'm not doing my hair, when I'm not filming Britt Says, I just have it in some plaque. Like that's how much rest we're giving our hair. And I'm gonna wash my hair today, probably after this episode or whatever. So perfecto. But yeah, how was you guys' week? My week was cool. I went to go see my parents. Did I go to Erica's house this week or was that last week? Oh, that was last week. Did I bring that up though on the last episode? I don't know. But yeah, I saw her, you know. I don't know if that was, is that oh, you know what it is? I think I did bring it up. I saw her the day before I filmed, but still, you know, same thing, same difference. I felt like that happened this week though, oddly, but definitely happened last week. I took out my hair, and yeah. Oh, I'm still fasting. Let me tell you about this fast, child. So, you know, 21 days fasting. You guys may or may not know. Something that people who are religious do. I know some people do like Lent. Isn't there another one they have besides Lent? I know like the one where they put the thing in. I think Lent is the most popular one. I know Hispanic people have one too, but I'm not sure what it is. But we know what fasting. Fasting is not something that's old, you know. So like I said last week, mine was to not eat any meat, no meat, even fish, because like I said in my last episode, you know, some people correlate not eating meat with they'll eat fish. But if you're eating fish, you're eating meat, because that's the meat of a fish. So I'm on a plant-based diet basically, and you know, it's going good. Yesterday I made some curry broccoli. Child, I put my foot and toe and fingers in it. It tastes so good. Oh my gosh. But am I experienced any like backlash? Like on day 6, I started getting kind of like a little these sound effects though. I was started, having a mini craving. Like I wanted some seafood, like the seafood boil, like from Captain Lou. I don't know what you guys know because it's so many different people watching. I have been checking my analytics and I have a lot of overseas listeners. Obviously majority is from the United States, but there's different countries watching. So I don't know, it's interesting. Paying attention to your analytics will drive you insane. But yeah, and I want some Spotify listeners. So if you're listening, my top one is Apple Podcasts, which is dope. But Spotify is, up there in the market as well. And I have 0 Spotify listeners. I used to have a few on season 1, and then season 2 came. I don't know what happened. And then season 3, literally after season 1, I don't know. Maybe people deleted Spotify. I don't know what happened. So yeah, most of my listeners on Apple Podcasts, which is dope. Apple Podcasts, I hear iHeartRadio says they are, but I don't think that's all talk. I think Apple Podcasts is obviously the #1 streaming service for podcasts, right? But the thing with Spotify is that I think maybe the way they lay out their stats and stuff for you is simple for brands to look at. So a lot of companies ask for stats from Spotify because their stats are so simplified and straight to the point. I think that's my assumption why they want your Spotify analytics, because it's so easy to get access to it. Like when I was using this thing called Podcorn, all of them ask for your analytics through, well, not all of them, but majority of them ask for your analytics through Spotify's. And I have no Spotify listeners. Like, that's insane. Like, people listening through Comb, through all these different things, and not Spotify, which is annoying, because isn't Spotify like the top, what do they call it, digital DSL streaming services? There's a name for it, but it's one of the top ones. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing an ad for it because they have a thing where you can do an ad. So I mean, hey, if you have Spotify, if you know somebody with it, I tell them to listen on Spotify. I'm listen on Apple though. You know what? Moving forward. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So I've been fasting, and yeah, I did have a craving for some seafood boil. That's why I was like, I don't know what you guys eat. I was gonna say the boil is a place. It's like when you put, the crab legs, the scrimp, the potatoes, the corn with the butter sauce. Oop. So I had a little baby craving for that. Then the fufu challenge was trending. Guys, follow me on Instagram because I'm kind of trying to be more active on there. So at _Brittstagram, they have a fufu challenge. It's like Nigerian food. Fufu is like this thing made of cassava. It reminds me of mashed potatoes, but just more thick. And you dip it in like goosey soup or goat pepper soup, whatever you want to, or whatever. So me and Bae was watching these fufu challenges, and it made me want Nigerian food. So I was just craving chicken, and I'm fish again. But obviously I didn't cave in because, I mean, it was like a mini craving. I've been taking vitamins, and one of the vitamins I was taking was like a super green vitamin, and it has a lot of riboflavin in it. And if you take too much riboflavin, you can your pee. We're very TMI in here, but your urine can become, oh my god, my battery is dying. Your urine can become neon yellow. So that happened. So I don't know if I should slow down on it. People say it's not a big deal. Today is the only day I haven't taken the vitamin yet, so I don't know. But yeah, that was the only weird thing that happened with the 21 days fast. I think you guys should try it. I kind of enjoy it, just pushing yourself to the limit and really, not doing things. I ate something a little heavy today. I ate mac and cheese today. So yeah, so I just ate some mac and cheese today, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, what are we gonna do? But yeah, I hope you guys had a great week. I had a great week. Well, or whatever week, or whatever the case may be. I'm feeling like it's the hair for me. And I was kind of like chilling the makeup this week, so I don't know. I just feel like today. But we're going to talk about a very good topic, I think. And we're going to talk a little bit more about other things too. Well, no, we're not. Okay, the topic is about forgiveness, right? So now you guys who do watch know that I did indeed do a video on about letting things go. I said, just let it go. Just let it rock, right? I spoke about that last season, like just about letting it go. But difference between just letting it go and forgiving is when you let something go. When I was saying just let it rock, it's like don't elicit an argument, don't elicit fights, don't entertain stuff, don't do certain things, you know. Forgiving is literally forgiving. Like you're forgiving that person for what they've done. I probably spoke a little bit about forgiving on that episode, but not as in depth as I will talk about it today. So I just wanted to put that out there. So today's topic is about forgiveness. I have not come up with a title for this episode. But obviously, by the time you guys see it, I will have come up with a title for this episode. So, you know, before every topic, what do we like to do? We like to expand our minds. So, in an article titled The Power of Forgiveness, written on health.harvard.edu. And this article is written by, their name is not here. I don't like that. All right, well, in an article titled Power of Forgiveness, the Reach Method teaches how to overcome lingering bad feelings towards someone who did you wrong. And that's the other thing too about forgiveness. I mean, you obviously can forgive somebody about something they said, obviously too, if you feel so inclined. But forgiveness is about literally forgiving someone for someone for doing something really bad. So let's get into the article. Almost everyone has experienced being wronged by someone. It could be a former coworker, friend, or family member, but hanging on to those negative feelings can do great harm to your health. Forgiving a person who has wronged you is never easy, but dwelling on those events and reliving them over and over can fill your mind with negative thoughts and suppressed anger, says Dr. Tyler Vanderwill, co-director of the Initiative of Health, Religion, and Spirituality at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Yet, when you learn to forgive, you are no longer trapped by the past, actions of others, and can finally feel free. Okay, so let's jump. I'm gonna make sure my phone is silent. Let's jump into the topic at hand. I got a little blanket because I'm a little nippy. So, forgiveness. Like I said, this is much different from just let it rock. Letting it rock is like letting it slide. Because you can let some shit rock, but that don't mean you forgave that person, right? You just letting that shit rock for the moment. Because you like, I'm going to have a better day. I'm going to have a better week. I'm going to have a better month. I'm going to have a better year. So I'm going to let that shit rock. I don't want to go to jail. Or, you know, I don't want a court case. Like, you just letting stuff rock. But you really still feel some type of way about whatever it is that took place. So, forgiveness. There's a market of people too who don't believe in forgiving, you know. For me, I believe in forgiving. And we'll talk about, you know, those different aspects. But for me, I believe in forgiving. And I'll say, you know, for me, when I have forgiven people, I do feel better. I have actually really forgiven, you know, people for things. Like, real life forgave. Do you know what it is to forgive? Okay, like some of us need to forgive our parents. You know what it's like to forgive? I have forgiven my parents. You know, sometimes I be getting a little in my bag about certain things, but for the most part, I would say I definitely forgave them. And look at how I have strived since then. Just forgiving. It helps you grow. You know what I'm saying? And the thing with forgiving is that the other tricky part with forgiving, I feel like, with people is that we often think we forgave something and we didn't. So we don't really know when we have truly forgiven or forgiven someone or something, mostly someone for something. We never really know, and I think that's also one of the top things that's not spoke about when it comes to forgiving. It's not like something that you really know if you've done it per se, right? Because sometimes you might have lingering feelings about something someone has done or said to you, and those feelings might linger or whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's kind of normal. So for me, I think you know when you forgave in something when you don't think about it as much, I would say. And it's not something that, okay, let me step back. All right, number one, you don't think about it as much. That's how you know you probably forgave that person. Number two, I feel like when you think about it, you don't get too mad. You might get mad about it, really mad about it. Honestly, if you get mad about it once a year, it's a bit much. But it depends on what it is. It really does. Because, like, let's say you have to... And when I'm talking about forgiving, I mean forgiving. Y'all don't want to get in that bag, but we going to get in that bag. When I'm talking about forgiving, I mean dead ass. Like, if you've ever been sexually assaulted or raped, or, you know, somebody killed somebody in your life, or... I'm talking that type of forgiveness. Like, we getting in that bag today. Okay? So, when it's that deep, it's probably hard to not cry about that at least once a year, right? Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? So, you have to learn to forgive those people to really, in order to heal. And, you know, it's not easy. But I believe in truly and indefinitely forgiving in order to live a healthy and just pursuant life. I know for me, when I forgive, like, I literally forgive. Like, I've forgiven in, you know, my relationships. You know, I had some things that piss me off. I won't get into why, you know. It wasn't infidelity. Things transpired. And I kind of couldn't let it go. And then when I forgave him, like, literally, like, for real. Should I tell that story? I don't want to tell that story. All right, I'm going to tell the story. Why do I do that? I do that all the time now. That's like my new thing. All right, so was that 2018 or 2019? That was 2019. That's crazy. All right, so in 2019... I went to LA. We went to LA with two of my friends, Keisha, Aisha. Their name rhyme. Okay, and you know, in LA, weed is very much recreational. It's legal. I'm not a big weed smoker. I'm not a weed connoisseur. I'm a cannabis connoisseur. But when I went out there, I decided to light something up, you know. And then I smoked on my own. In the apartment or whatever. I had smoked on my own or whatever the case may be. And then I was like, I got in my bag. Now I'm not entertaining, you know, using drugs or recreational drugs or alcohol to reach enlightenment. But I think I reached enlightenment at that time. That's how I felt, you know. And it made me, like, I got really high. And I just had a moment where I was just, like, just thinking, you know, about me at the time. And I was just like, you want to be mad at him, but he been so good to you. Or, you know, just like, you really love him, but you don't want to love him. Like, my head, I don't know if y'all ever smoke weed, but it makes you think sometimes. Or sometimes it makes you overthink. And that could be good or it could be bad. For me, I personally don't like to overthink. That's why I don't smoke. But, you know, like I said, I smoke because I was in LA. That's not a good reason to do something that you normally don't do. I'm just putting it out there. But it had me, like, my head erasing. And I remember, like, the whole time we were on vacation, we would speak every morning or whatever. So I think that kind of played a key role. So anyway, I just came to him and was like, Britt, you got to forgive him. You got to forgive him. Da, 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 da. Like, you can't live with this. Because you won't forgive him, you can't let go of the situation itself. That's important. So let's keep that in mind. I was like, because you won't forgive him, you won't forget the situation itself in its totality. You can't live properly because of that. Like, and that's the other thing with certain situations too, is right. Like, let's say for instance you do get sexually assaulted. You might try to not forget, maybe just like learn to live with the fact that you experienced that, right? And that's one aspect of that situation, right? That's just the one aspect of it. But the person who did it is also another aspect of the situation, right? So you're just learning to live with the fact that you got sexually assaulted. You're like, all right, I did that. I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm going to get a job. I'm being me. I'm thriving. But you're not also forgiving the person who did it, which is another big aspect of the whole entire situation. So I just say that. So I feel like that's another reason why we kind of don't fully heal from certain things, because we're not forgiving every aspect of the situation. So, boom. So then after that, I remember I was like, I forgive him. Like, I wasn't saying it aloud. You know how you feel like you're saying stuff aloud when you're high, but you're not. You're just saying it in your head. That was basically what was happening. And so I think I was like, all right, when I come home back from LA, I'm gonna have a conversation with him, and I'm gonna let him know that, like, I'm forgiving him, because I kept bringing it up in argument. It was becoming too much. So then I was supposed to find me on the phone. I was like, all right, when you pick me up from the airport, I want to talk to you. I want to have a conversation with you. Whatever. So now he in his bag. He like, what the fuck you gonna have a conversation about? And then he was like, I think he thought I cheated him. I think he thought I had sex with somebody else. I don't know what he thought I did, because he kept saying, I already know how y'all girls do, so I don't care. And I'm just like, what is he inferring? Like, I don't know what he was thinking I was gonna say, but it makes sense. I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking I was gonna say I forgive him for that. I wouldn't have thought that. That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna be honest. So then I came home and I was like, come over after work. I want to talk to you. He was like, I'm not coming over there. And I was just like, this is serious. Can you please? So then he came over or whatever. And then I was just like, I just want to say. And then I started crying. I told him that I would give him whatever. And then he looked mad happy because he thought I was going to say I fucked somebody in LA. And I really, like, that situation, I really healed from it, or whatever the case may be. It was, I feel bad not saying what it is, but I'm usually very transparent, or whatever the case may be, but, bear with me. We'll bring it up. The podcast is here to stay, Because I don't want y'all to think he did something crazy, like date rape me or something. I don't know. It wasn't crazy. It just wasn't. Oh, now I feel so inclined to say what it was. Okay, I'll say it, because I say everything. Okay, after this episode, I'm gonna stop saying I'm not gonna say something and then say it because I be doing that. So as you guys know, I spoke about in my pregnancy episode that I had a ectopic pregnancy before I had the placenta abruption. So when I had the ectopic pregnancy, me and Femi was only together for like 6 months, like no cap. So when it happened, I spoke about it in the story. When it happened, we had an argument about something stupid. It was nothing bad. It was literally probably like he just got on my nerves. I didn't like his head. I don't know. He took the sheet off of me. Something crazy. And then me, I used to be in my bag. I'll dead you for anything. I don't give a fuck just for taking the sheet off of me too much. Like, I don't care. So yeah, back to the story at hand. So when the incident happened, I was like, oh, I'm pregnant, blah, blah, blah. He like, you lying, we were plan B, da, da, da. You guys could check out the pregnancy episode. I'll tag it below, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, he didn't believe me, which I get, because we just had an argument. I said, I'm done with you. Deadness speaks to you for 2 weeks, now I'm pregnant. What the fuck? Whatever. It turned out to be an ectopic pregnancy because I took plan B. Boom. Say less. So when the incident happened, he was just being an asshole about it, so I was mad about that. Number two, when everything happened, I was like, can you come to the hospital? Da, 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 can you come to the hospital? And he was like, it was like late around the time when I finally got diagnosed, or not, or when they finally told me, or whatever the case may be, it started getting late. Like, it was going on from morning to night. And I was like, can you come get me, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, Brittany, I don't know what to do with these situations, da, da, da. And I just felt like he wasn't there. Like, he called me, but I wanted him to be there physically for me, you know what I'm saying? And I was just mad that he wasn't there. Like, I wanted him at the hospital or whatever. Like, my cousin came and picked me up at the hospital. Like, I wanted him to be there with me or whatever. Ugh, now I feel like I gotta say I'm mad stuff. All right. But we're here for this, right? It's good. We're here for this. So it was something I really never forgave him for not being at the hospital with me. Like, I really, at the time, I obviously completely forgave him for it or whatever. And he was there 100% the second time around, like every day at the hospital. And obviously our relationship grew so much more. We've been together for so long. That doesn't make it excusable, but you know, whatever. Stepping back. So I had not forgiven him for that. Like, I would bring it up all the time. Like, even, and we stopped talking for like a month or two. And then we got back together again. And it really impacted our relationship too. Like, we're about to be very hot. I told you I watched Pastor Michael Todd. And he uses this term hot, which I actually really like in general. And I say it all the time. Is HOT stands for H, humble, O, open, T, transparent. So you basically humble, open, and transparent. So I like that because I usually say I'm going to be humble, open, and transparent. Vice versa, say not, because say I'm going to be hot. Like, hello, good morning. So, it really, like, when we tried to get back together or whatever, I was already feeling weird about everything, and it ruined our relation. It was messing with our relationship. Like, he tried, you know, I'm about to be hot. Fuck it. Okay, so I called him or whatever for whatever reason because I missed him, and then I came back. And he invited me over, like, oh, you know, come over, blah, blah, blah. And then he brought me wine. He brought me flowers. I'm like, damn, a baby got a pass to get some flowers. We talked about in the last episode that I have a weird humor. So y'all can't get but so mad at me for the way I act. I'm sorry. Like, this is who I am. I said, oh, a baby got to die for me to get some flowers or whatever the case may be. So then he, like, just trying. Then we trying to do the nasty, and it just wasn't working out, like, for months. Like, it took a while for us to really, like, just for the relationship to really just come back together. Like, and that's why that situation too is a testimony to, and why I'm so big on now, you know, and all that stuff comes with wisdom. Now we talk about other things, but this is important. Why I always say too in a lot of my relationship episodes is that you could really try and just try to work with people and have conversations and learn to forgive and just, you know, pray and stuff, because most people, if their relationship was how me and Femi's was at that time, like, it really didn't even make sense for us to be together at the time. Like, no, I'm not even capping. Like, we barely could talk. Like, I remember, like, we would kiss and I would feel disgusted. Like, I would want to throw up. Like, it was the weirdest thing. Like, it was bad. I'm like, this is not gonna work. This relationship is not gonna work. Like, it's not gonna work. Like, I remember I left at his house at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, this relationship is not gonna work. Then he would get mad because I'm not turned on. It was becoming crazy. Like, we'd be having crazy arguments in here, and he had 2 roommates. And it's so funny, we live in an apartment now where his 2 roommates were, and I would be screaming, he would be screaming, everybody's screaming. It's crazy. Like, the way the cards was aligned at the time, most people break up at that time, and it is indefinite. Like, we should have not been together. Like, for most people, like, that's how bad it was. It was like, there was no connection. It wasn't bad in the sense of, I can't explain, because you know how people have bad relationships. It was just like we weren't connecting. Like it was that bad. Or whatever, like, and I think that's mad important, is to connect in your relationship. Like we just weren't connecting, like the dots were not connecting at all. Like it was no sexual tension, we couldn't hold conversations, I barely could sleep with him. It was like crazy. Then he gonna lie and say his father died or whatever, and I just brought that up to him like 2 days ago or whatever. Like, why would you lie and say your father died? Like, he lied to me and said his father died so that I could forgive him, you know, for what had happened. Like, he basically, like, that's toxic. So that, you know how, like, people say, like, this happened in my life, that's why I wasn't there at the hospital. Like, I know that this sounds crazy to y'all, because it sounds crazy to me when I say it, but I say all that to say, you know, all of this was happening. So this is happening around April, May 2019. And I went to LA in August. So think about that. April, May, June, July, August. So for 6 months. That's insane. That's insane. For about 6 months, I had not forgiven him. A half of a fucking year. But what I will say is that I had learned to heal from the ectopic pregnancy, from that situation. I was kind of healing from that. And then I do remember still roughly around July, like things started like picking kind of back up between the both of us, or whatever the case may be. Like just a little bit, like things was picking up, but it wasn't there. And I would constantly bring up the situation. So then that day when I came home and I was like, I forgive you. I don't want to live like this. I can't heal from the situation. Like, I literally started crying, like, I can't fully heal from the situation if I don't forgive you. And then I started crying, or whatever the case may be. And then I really lived much better with the situation. Like, I'm not capping. Like, I'm dead serious. And it just helped our relationship so much. And that's another reason why I'm so big on, like, identifying the key issues in your relationships and like seeing if you can fix it. Sometimes certain things are not fixable. Sometimes some people do not connect. And like we really came back full circle though. Like full circle. Like I'm not exaggerating, y'all. Like full circle. Like most people in that situation, like where it's done, like it feels dead. And that's why I always say, like, it's crazy that he like stood by me, like if in certain situations, you know, or I stood by him, you know. It's really weird, but you know, you can get through a lot. People get through a lot though too. You hear these in a lot of relationships and situations about, you know, and you see it in a lot of like marriages and stuff where people just rock it out, you know. You gotta identify when it's bad and when it's good though, and what's toxic and non-toxic, because it wasn't toxic, it was just we lost the connection. The toxic is different. Like we just for some reason couldn't connect. But once I forgave that situation, I felt a pickup in the relationship. And I guess he weaned off of that pickup and it picked up. You know, we're still here today. And is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. Is it good? Yeah. You know, I'm enjoying it, and you know, it's a learning experience. So, you know, forgiving is so important. Like that's a very good prime example to me of why I believe in, you know, forgiveness and why I'm so big on it. So yeah, so that was crazy. That was a good story, but that's why I'm so big on forgiveness, and it's just important to me, and it's key. I think one of the top ways to forgive is to reach enlightenment, right? So I reached enlightenment by smoking a blunt, a pre-roll to be specific. But there's other ways to reach, you know, enlightenment. So you have to say, I want to forgive this person. Me, I probably pray, go to church. A lot of you guys are spiritual. That's why I'm like, We'll figure it out with these vaccines. Like, I want to like interview somebody who's not. Well, do I really? I don't know, because my podcast is anointed by the Lord. But I do really don't know, like, because I know there's people who are spiritual and I know there's people who are religious. So if you're neither one, what do you answer to? What do you speak to? Who guides you? That's scary. Because for me, I say my podcast is for everybody. So I want to be able to just tune in with people and give you advice in any such a way where you feel like, okay, this is a way for me to forgive. I can't align with that. I feel like if you're not even spiritual, how can you really like live life purposely? Am I saying it right? I don't think you can. I'm sorry. Now, this episode is full of topics and I love that. I just don't, I can't, maybe my podcast isn't for everybody then, because I really can't relate or feel like I could give full advice if you're not at least spiritual. And people, I think, we spoke about religion, but I don't know if I went in depth about spirituality, about like people, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea, but people who are spiritual, you know, who align with the stars and the retrogrades and the stones and the spirits, honey, and the witchery. I'm not into that. But I mean, at least they feel aligned with something, you know? I feel like in order to learn to forgive, in order to reach your purpose, in order to do all those things, you have to be aligned with something. Is it me? Like I feel like that's the only way, because I'm trying to say, how can you learn to forgive? And it's like you have to sit down, speak to your Lord and Savior, speak to your whoever you speak to, and say, you know, what is it that you need from me? How can I live with this situation? And one of the first things they're gonna tell you is to forgive, and to I don't like I like let go, but I don't like let go, because let me tell you why I don't like let go. I like let go in the simplest form, which I spoke about in the beginning of this episode. But I don't like to say let go, because I feel like you're now I'm thinking of it, because when I thought about letting go, I feel like you're letting it go to God. Some people do that, where they say you're giving it to God. If you're doing it in that sense, yeah, but I don't feel it's comfortable to just let something go, because some people overdo that and that's unhealthy. So something bad can happen in your life and then you just try to forget it. And that's when I'm worried about how people are going to perceive the term let go, because I don't think you can just forget something. I don't think that that's healthy to just simply forget something. Like, oh, I just forget about it. Like, that's sick. And that's how you get repressed memory. Now you're walking around like a psychopath. And we don't have time for that. We don't have time for your psychopathness. And that's another reason why forgiving is so key. You cannot just let something go. Like, in that term, when I say let go, I mean like you literally just saying, oh, that traumatic event happened. Let's take it out of our memory bank. And you don't learn to deal with it. You don't learn to heal with it. You don't learn to grow with it, bitch. You just said, throw it out. Like, that's not healthy. I'm sorry. Because you didn't even learn how to progress that information and that trauma. Like, we can't operate like that. So, I just think that the first thing you got to do is really gather. And I know that I always align a lot of things with therapy, but therapy can help you learn to forgive. But I do think, and like I said, I'm not a mental health professional, so, you know, take anything I say with a grain of salt. But I do think in order to forgive, it's something you have to do within you. Like, it's something that you really, like, because I don't think, like, I feel like it's something one day it just comes to you to forgive. I really feel like that. I don't feel like it's something that you probably, a therapist probably could reach you to that point, yes. But, yeah, that's usually how therapy works. For the most part, I don't think that's something that'll come up in a session. I feel like that's something that will randomly happen while you're in the shower, or you're on your way to work, or you're just driving, or you're doing something, and you just feel like, yo, I'm going to forget this person. It's something when you reach a certain amount of enlightenment, it just happens. It just spurs up on you. That's how I feel, you know. I feel like it's something that just happens so such and such a way. So that's why I feel like you gotta be in tune with forgiving. And you gotta realize it's important to forgive. You don't want to live with these things. Forgiving is dope. Some people thrive off of the fact that you hate them. You don't want nobody thriving off of your energy, your bad energy or your good energy. Like, you don't want people draining you out clean. I'm telling you, if you forgive, do you know what forgive is? Forgive. Oh, the maturity of it all. Like, it shows maturity. It shows growth. To just be like, I forgive you. And just like, even when we watch it on TV, like, remember the white boy, he shot up the church and the church people forgave the boy, child. And well, they religious, and when you become religious, you do learn. And I don't know if y'all see that, like when Pastor they'll say, you know, a lot of people mess with your spirit, honey. They will. But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Tread lightly. Those people probably just did that just to feel better. You don't want to live hating somebody. You walking every day and you just hate a person. Think about that. That's a bit much. That's too much. You don't want to live like that. You like literally living every day and you dead don't fuck with somebody. Think about that. That's a bit much. Like, knock it off. I don't think you should have hate for nobody in your heart. I really don't. I don't believe that. You shouldn't have hate. You shouldn't have thoughts. You shouldn't have treason for anybody in your heart. I don't care what they did or said to you. Nobody should be inside your head that you hate. That's crazy if you really think about it. That's insane. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. If you really think about that. It's one person in your life. Like, you know how people say that? It's only one person in my life I hate. Like, I hate them. Like, people be saying, I hate my father. Like, they be ODing like, oh, I hate my ex. And you know, it's unhealthy to live with somebody that you hate. It's like, think about that. You walking around with all this weight on your shoulder from this one person that you just can't stand, honey. You don't want nobody to have that much energy on your life. I'm sorry. To hate somebody, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, to really hate someone, think about that. Like, come on now. Like, that means you know, if you hate someone, you really love that person. Okay? Like, if I'm in somebody's hate list, that's scary, but it's also like, damn, I'm kind of a vibe. Like, you dead ass hate me. Like, whoa, like, I'm that girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when you hate something, like, think about something you would hate to eat. Like, something that just tastes disgusting to you. Something you just hate to eat. Like, you know how you put it in your mouth and you just want to gag? Like, you know how much of a strain or in your thigh that is? Nah, you don't want to hate nobody. Nah, you can't live with that. We're not doing that. Not in 2021. No. 2021 and beyond, we're not hating anyone. No. Mm-mm. I know it sounds crazy, and it's weird. A lot of things sound crazy to me. A lot of things I say on here sounds crazy to me. To tell somebody to forgive sounds crazy to me because I know how dope it is to forgive. But I know to some, to hear me say forgive, I used to be a person like that. I was a queen, okay, of I don't believe in forgiving people. Because people be knowing what they doing. That's what I used to say. People know what they do, so why the fuck should I forgive them? Big facts. And it's this line Rick Ross says. I forgot. But it was something about forgiveness and basically not forgiving, you know, not being a forgiver. And I used to be like that. I really was a big person like that. Like, if somebody did something wrong to me, I dead don't forgive them for that shit. I never believed in forgiveness. I just felt like it was stupid. Like, people know what they be doing all the time, and they fucking clowns. And why would I forgive them for something they did with intent? That makes zero sense to me. You get what I'm saying? But number one, people don't know better. Even when we think they know better, they really don't know no better. So yeah, somebody could do something to you with intent, but they really don't know no better. Because if they knew any better, they still wouldn't do that with intent. Does that make sense? Like, they still wouldn't have done that shit. So you just can't live with that weight. Like, I used to be like that, and I'm so happy I'm not like that. That's some young shit. Like, and I be looking at life now, and a lot of the things I used to do was back when I was younger. Like, that was when I was like 18, 19, 20, like 21, maybe 22, 23. Psych. I think it was up until like 22. I was like that, you know, and from 22 and down, like, I just like, who forgives people? That's dumb. That's illogical. And I used to always say, like, you can't forgive people for things that they've done wrong. That's silly. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. Why would you forgive somebody for doing something bad to you? I would always say that. And it's just like, because why wouldn't you? And that sounds crazy too. Like, somebody's like, you sound stupid right now. But you don't want to live with all that hate on your body. No, you don't. You don't want that smoke. And you shouldn't need it. And you don't need it. You don't want it or don't need it. Because don't let me say you don't want it. Because some of y'all be like, I'll take it. Nah, come on now. That's some childish shit too, not to forgive. I think that's stuff that kids do. I'm sorry. That's some teenager shit. That's some young girl shit. I don't forgive anybody. And another thing too is like, when you don't forgive, you're always chasing for an answer that sometimes doesn't have an answer, or the answer's already there. Or like, I feel like too with some people, like, for instance, the instance with Dr. Dre or whatever, and his wife in a divorce or whatever, then he got the brain aneurysm, and then he was like, fuck it, I just give her $2 million. My thing with that situation was this. Okay, y'all signed a prenup or something, right? Because that was what had happened was they signed the prenup, and she was still running for money or whatever, because I guess she was just mad at him, because if they divorced, he must have did some crazy shit, you know. He must have just made her hit her break. But my thing is like, the problem with that is like, you should be happy you was able to leave and hit the divorce, right? And if you can't get that money because y'all signed the prenup legally, you could tell that she's not, obviously it's fresh, number one, for her. So that's different. But a lot of people had the brain aneurysm thing that happened, and you know, I hope he feels better. I know a lot of y'all like, oh, he deserved that because he's abusive, but I don't believe in that. We can talk about that another day too. But obviously she's fresh in, right? But a lot of people don't forgive their ex-husbands for things, and they'll drag out divorces and drag out money and drag out situations and throw their name in the mud, and now you're making a career off of just being hateful, and just like, let that shit go. Watch, you let that go, and watch, all the blessings is gonna come to you, and all the money you wanted from your ex-husband is gonna come to you in abundance. Leave. You shouldn't be worried about money and finance. You should be worried about leaving a toxic situation, saying, you know what, I'm out of this situation, just sign the papers. I don't care if you don't give me no money, I don't care if you don't give me a penny, I don't care if you don't give me a cent. This divorce is over. And you know, and when you in the front of that man, say, you know, I forgive you for everything you did, I'm happy this is over, may God bless you in your future endeavors, and move on. And that's the other thing too about not forgiving. When you don't forgive somebody for what they've done, you start doing unnecessary shit, like unnecessary, unneeded things, and just dragging stuff on. I noticed that about people. Like, people will just drag things on and on and on and on when they don't forgive. Like, you'll just, like I said, I kept bringing up the pregnancy over nonsense. Like, we'll be watching the show, I'll bring it up. Like, or you'll just keep trying to get something out of this person. You want a sorry. You're not forgiving the person because they never said sorry to you. And now you're trying to get the sorry out of them. So you're working tirelessly to get a sorry, and you may never get it. So why won't you forget? Like, I don't know. It's just too big of a topic. Like, but that's one things I noticed too, is like, people who don't forgive have a tendency to really like drag stuff out, because you want it to end the way you want it to end, but the situation already ended, so it's kind of like weird. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I wanted him to be at the hospital, but like the situation is already over, so what am I really doing by keeping this in my head? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you want to do it again? Like, like, I'm confused. Like, it's people just constantly drag stuff out. Like, you got to learn to let stuff go, even when it's not even in your favor. Because I'm telling you, when you forgive, everything's going to come back to you in abundance. You're going to get whatever you want, whatever you need. You're going to get you a new man who's going to be fabulous. You're going to get you all the money you need. You're going to get the business you want. You gotta leave all that old stuff, because you start investing too much. All the time you're investing into getting your sorry or your whatever you want out of this situation could be going into your business, could be going into your relationship with your children, could be going into your new relationship, could be going into so many things. But you so focused on what this person did wrong, it's taking up so much of your time. So that's another thing to think about of why forgiveness is so important. Because, you know, another thing too, I hate to bring up these type of situations, but it's like the situations with separated parents. You know, sometimes when you co-parenting too, right? The father, I'll say the mother, because I know a lot of people, some men take care of their heads. The mother or the father may not be putting in enough effort with the child, and now you feel like, and I can understand how frustrating, I can only imagine how frustrating that might be, but you're constantly trying to push them to be a better father, or push her to be a better mother. You're constantly pushing them and shoving them and tugging them and drugging them, and then, drugs, no, but you're constantly like taking them to court, doing this and doing that. And I get it completely. Maybe you cannot afford to do it on your own, so you need money from this person or whatever. You want them to help. You're like, help me, please. But they're not. And the real reason why you keep asking them is because you won't forgive them for that situation. When you learn to let go and forgive, like, you know what? I forgive the father of my child, the mother of my child, for not being a good parent. And I pray that they eventually do become a better parent for our kid. And I forgive them. And you won't be able to move forward. And all the money and all the stuff you need can come in abundance. But you're investing too much time into this man or woman. And now you can't afford to get diapers, because you just put so much time into this person. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my thing on forgiveness. I felt like it went all over the place, but it was very hot, humble, open, and transparent. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next